Yeah. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Thank you very much for joining us. As you come in, please say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. And Bob, how are things with you?
Oh, things are pretty good. I just got back from Ohio a couple of days ago. Spent a week visiting with my mom and my sister and all that stuff.
Mm.
It was a
I've
fairly
got
good trip.
I've got something I need to say to you. OH.
IO.
Say, I feel like a native.
Not with that accent.
Hey,
uh,
One Dev Pure, how you doing? Papa Carnivore, how you going? Good to
Hello,
see
Papa
you.
Carnivore. Yeah, you guys will have to excuse me. I'm a little on the tired side.
You've been
I got
burning the
in.
midnight oil.
Yeah, well, I got in late Monday night. I mean midnight, and didn't get to bed till about 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want my sleep schedule to be completely messed up, so I set my alarm for the normal time I get up, which is 7, and I managed to stay awake till 11 o'clock last night. But then the big thunderstorm rolled in about 4:15 this morning, so I've had very little sleep the last couple of nights, so I'm kind of running on empty here. But yeah, I still have to get motivated and go out and try and clear the driveway because we've had, it's thunderstormed, and then the thunderstorm turned into a thunder sleet storm, and then it turned into a thunder snowstorm, and it's still blizzarding out there. It's supposed to start dying down here any time now. So by the time we get done with this live, I'll be able to get out and start doing the driveway because we got about a foot of snow out there today.
Wow. So what time is it there now?
It is 5:37.
Wow. So it's going to be 7 o'clock at night and you're going to be out there with the shoveling.
Oh, well, I have a snowblower. When it's this heavy,
okay.
I have a snowblower. It's still a lot of work to push it through snow that deep, but I'm certainly not going to shovel that much snow.
Right. Do you need any extra food to be able to, keep going?
Probably not. We'll see. Yeah, because it'll be late enough when I get done. I'll have another drink of something and then go to bed.
Okay. Nice. So, guys, as you come in, as I mentioned, please let us know where you're coming in from. Say hello. And also, if you have any questions or discussion points you want us to get to, please put a Q in front of it, and I'll tag those and get onto them. Oh, SK Collier 1 coming to us from the Isle of Man. Nice.
I've heard of it. I have no idea where it is.
It's off the UK, no? Oh, or it's part of the UK, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's 78 degrees and sunny here down in South Florida. Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, it was 70 degrees here in Omaha every day I was gone. And now that I've been back for a day and a half, it's snowing again out there.
Okay, we got Alia, thank you very much for the super chat. The 20,000 is that Colombian pesos?
Colombian pesos.
Just stopping by to say my eyesight has improved per doctor exam today. Posting video now. Oh, nice. Nice work. Awesome. Congratulations, Alia. And thank you again for the super chat. Okay. One Deaf Pure. I'm currently 140 days into carnivore, and I think I developed histamine intolerance, and I'm worried that I might have to stop carnivore and change to keto low histamine diet. Any advice, please? Don't want to ditch this way of eating. If you heard of any histamine things, or have you experienced any histamine problems, Bob?
I have not, but if you go back and watch Michaela Peterson's story, she talks about this quite a bit, which is why she primarily eats just lamb now. So I would start with different types of ruminant meat, depending on where you're at: beef, lamb, camel, depending on what part of the world you're in, bison, and then a lot of the wild game, deer, elk, things like that. And just keep trying those until you find one, because beef should not do excuse me, beef should not do that to you, but in a few people it does. So try some lamb and see if you react to that.
Nice. I stand corrected. The Isle of Man is not part of the UK. It's part of the British Isles in the Irish Sea between England and Ireland. Sorry about that, Sue. Sorry.
But now I know what general part of the world is. Like I said, I've heard of the Isle of Man, but I'm not big on geography. And now I sort of know what part of the world it's in, and that's all I was really after there.
Yeah, so isn't the Isle of Man some kind of tax haven or something, or it's some kind of like it's not taxed in the same way as the rest of Britain? I'm not sure. Okay. Bob, any thoughts on this? Won't carnivore tank T3 levels?
No. I mean, look at Dr. Sean Baker. You think Dr. Baker has a T3 problem?
Yeah.
It may not be in what they consider the normal range, but if you're eating a true carnivore diet, I think you'll see that your T3 levels are just fine not being in the normal range, because it's obvious that Dr. Baker and Anthony Chafee, and there's a few others out there, Jonathan at Carnivore Muscle, they don't seem to be having a problem.
Right. Yeah. I'm always a little bit skeptical of the kind of the normal levels, because it's levels based on a sick population, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing. I was just reading an article today, especially not so much in T3, but so many of the other tests. Before blood pressure medicines got so popular, the national standards for blood pressure 40 years ago was like 160 over 90 was considered okay. And then it got lowered to 140 over 80, and now it's down to like 120 over 80 is the standard. And the whole thing is just to get you to buy more drugs, just like, cholesterol levels. If you go by their standards, 50 years ago, a cholesterol of 350 was considered perfectly fine. And then when statins came onto the market and they had a way to lower your cholesterol, they convinced you that you wanted to lower it. And T3 is the same way. They don't have any drugs to raise it or lower it. Well, you can raise it with T3 shots, but as long as you're not experiencing any problems, I wouldn't worry about what the standard range is. If you can still lift heavy things, you don't have a T3 problem.
One of the things I find interesting, Bob, is, where you're talking there about how the levels have been lowered and lowered and lowered to sell more drugs. A lot of people, or the vast majority of people, would probably listen to you saying that and say, you're just a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, no, I'm just talking about a logical thing that businesses do. Like they want to maximize the sales of their product, And so they do whatever it takes to maximize those sales, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the video I put out yesterday was talking a lot about that because I had just gotten back from Ohio and spent a week visiting mom over in her. It's called an extended care facility now because nursing home is not a politically correct term anymore. You have to call it an extended care facility. But the diet they feed those people, and my whole talk yesterday was about how, so many people say that our healthcare systems are broken, but they're not broken. They're working exactly as they intend them to work.
Right.
The big food companies sell you crap for food that makes you sick, and then you go to the doctor and they give you a pill, and then they give you another pill, because when you're perfectly healthy, they can't make any money off of you. When you're dead, they can't make any money off of you. But there's money to be made all in between those two spots. And ideally, they would like everybody to be as close to dead, but not dead, because that's where they get the maximum profits for their money, because they can sell you. I'm a classic example. Before I started Carnivore, I was taking 13 pills in the morning, 9 at night, plus pain pills throughout the day. And I'm not the only one that was taking that many drugs. By the time you're 50 now, it's considered normal to be taking 5 pills every day.
And that's the best way for a company to be earning their money, when they're selling a product that everyone feels like it's normal, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's just, well, that's what people do. It's like smartphones. Like it would be odd now for someone not to have a smartphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's normalized. So that's great for companies that are selling smartphones. And same with medications.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're getting a little older. Your blood pressure's getting a little high. Here, have a pill. That'll help you out a little bit. With no thought to why is the blood pressure getting higher? Oh, this is a little out of whack. Here, have a pill for that. And it might cause muscle aches. So if you get muscle aches, let me know. I'll get you another pill for those too.
Right. I'm laughing at the comment. I guess because I talked about phones, Rick's saying here, I use a rotary phone.
Yes, he does. He's got a rotary phone that still works.
Okay. So Sue's just updating. I was talking about the Isle of Man being low tax. So it's about 20%. Okay. MCC. I'm having a hard time sticking with carnivore, doing 70-30. How can I stick with it if I have to cook for hubby and he's not carnivore? I don't want to cause any problems in your marriage, but you could say, I'm going to cook for you what I'm eating, and if you want to add sides to that, feel free to do whatever you want. Is what you could do. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
This comes back to your why. Why are you trying to do carnivore? Why are you trying to stick with it? If you keep your why right in front of you, and everybody's why is different. It could be you want to be able to take your dog for a walk. You want to be able to get down on the floor and play with your grandkids, or take your grandkids to the zoo. Whatever your why is, you have to keep that why right in front of you at all times, so that when you're cooking for your husband and you look at the potatoes you just made him and go, man, those look really good. But then you can put your why in front of you and compare the two. Say, dude, that potato looks really good. Do I want the potato, or do I want to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids?
Yeah. Well said. And Rick's asking, does iguana count as a side?
I've seen some of the sizes of the iguanas you cook, Rick. That's not a side. That's a main course.
Anything that's got, has it got teeth? Anything that's got teeth is not a side. Okay, from Chris. Had widow make a heart attack about 6 years ago. Sunday, I'm coming up 200 days carnivore and 85 pounds lost, but cardiologist scared to death because my LDL went from 75 to 145. Any thoughts?
Yes, I have lots of thoughts.
Oh, please go ahead.
LDL does not cause heart disease. It just doesn't. They've been pushing that for several decades now to sell you statins. I've had a triple bypass surgery. And since going carnivore, not only have I gotten off all my meds, but year over year, 2 years in a row, my ejection fraction, which is how much blood your heart pumps with each beat, has gone up significantly. And my CAC score, which is your coronary artery calcium score, has gone down. Normally, once you have plaque buildups, they go up by about 10 to 15% every year until you have your widowmaker heart attack or you need a triple bypass or whatever. So while my CAC score has not gone down a lot, it going down a little bit is really big if you factor in not only did it go down a few points, it didn't go up that 10 to 15% either. I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. Professor K has several videos that will explain to you that LDL is not linked causally in any way to heart attacks. It just doesn't cause plaque. And the best argument, I hate to quote Paul Saladino because I don't like him at all because he pushes fruit and honey. But if something floating in the blood was the cause or was adding to your heart disease, then why does it only happen in very specific spots on the high pressure side? Nobody ever gets any kind of plaque buildup in their veins. It's always in arteries in very specific spots.
That's a good point, right? The LDL's everywhere, but you only get plaque in certain areas. So is it really the LDL? Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Okay. Where Huang Lin. What do you think about raw milk? I don't have the option of it, so I don't really have any thoughts on it. Any thoughts from you, Bob?
Well, the few thoughts I had, I do believe raw milk is healthier than pasteurized milk. But if you listen to Dr. Berry and many others, humans are the only animal on the planet that have decided that they want to drink the milk of another animal. You know, mother's milk has a very specific purpose for making little babies grow, but then they get weaned off and they go to solid food. Am I saying you shouldn't have dairy? No, I eat cheese on occasion and that kind of stuff. I use some heavy cream every once in a while, but I don't just sit down and drink milk. But if you're going to sit down and drink milk, raw milk is better than pasteurized milk because raw milk is whole milk.
Yeah. Let me just jump in at this point and say to everyone, whoever's channel you're on right now, please smash the like button. Smashing like is a good indicator to YouTube that you're enjoying the live stream, and YouTube will push it out more aggressively the more likes there are. So if you could do us that favor, that would be awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. Matthew, what's your view on supplements? I have been carnivore for a year, experienced amazing results, pure carnivore, but always looking for more. Now taking quercetin and some others and feel better, I think. I think if you're taking a supplement and it's making you feel better, I would continue taking that supplement. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Bob?
Yeah, it depends on where you live and where your food is coming from. You know, I throw a little bit of iodine in my morning drink just because I know that most of the beef I get comes from the feedlots here in Nebraska, which is not the greatest diet in the world, and they're not getting any of the minerals that they're supposed to be getting by eating the grass in the field. So a little bit of a supplement here and there, not such a bad thing. Just make sure you're getting the most bioavailable. I have no idea what quercetin is, but just make sure you're getting the best quality. And if you can get it in tablet form rather than capsule, because a lot of these supplements that are in capsule have seed oils mixed into them. And I think the seed oil is probably more damaging than the supplement that is suspended in it is healthy for you. But, you know, if you think you're short on something and you're taking a little supplement and you feel better, that's my number one rule is how do you feel? And if it makes you feel better, by all means, give it a try. If you think you might be short on something, like I said, I dump just a little bit of iodine, about 2 drops every other morning in my morning beverage.
Sorry, I was just doing a little conversion there for the next question.
Sure.
From Sue. My cholesterol is 13.6 millimoles, which is 526 milligrams per deciliter. And my doctor wants me to go on statins. He is scaring me with threats of a heart attack or stroke. My cardiologist has arranged an echocardiogram. Will this help? So here's the thing that the tack that I try and take when I'm talking to a doctor who's like, statins, heart attack, stroke, death, destruction, all this kind of thing, right? I said, okay, doctor, let's take the emotion out of it. And let's do some scans, right? Let's do a CT angiogram. Let's do a CAC score. Let's do an echocardiogram. Let's do all the things and see what the status is. And then let's wait a period of time and let's test again and compare those things. And then we've got some actual data. Then it's not just you reacting emotionally to a blood test. Right. This is the problem, right? Doctors are meant to be the professionals, right? Doctors are not meant to be the Chicken Little running around saying the sky is falling down, right? That's what children do. That's like reacting emotionally to something is what kids or like not people that haven't properly developed into adults do, right? So they should be able to take this in a more kind of measured scientific approach, I think. So, yeah, I would say happy to have the tests, happy to find out what's going on, if there's anything that is going on. But like the results of a blood test doesn't conclude anything, is what the way I would handle it. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, well, as I said on the earlier question, cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Period. Full stop.
Mm.
Beyond that, statins are a metabolic poison that do nothing. They'll say, oh, well, this is where they play with the statistics. They'll say that the statin will reduce your risk of heart attack by 36% or whatever the number is. Some of them claim 50%. But then if you look at the actual statistics of their so-called study, they gave you the relative reduction. If you look at the hardline numbers, you'll discover that the one that says it reduces your risk by 50% is a difference between 0.5 instances per thousand and 1.0 instances per thousand, which is statistically significant, but clinically not significant, because if you take their statin medication for your entire life and put up with all of the side effects, which can include type 2 diabetes, a higher instance of type 2 diabetes, muscle pain, a higher instance of dementia. There are a lot of side effects to statins. And if they are actually correct that it will do what it says it does, if you do the math, you'll discover that you're going to get between 6 and 8 extra days at the end of your life for all of those side effects. It should be very, very telling that the gentleman who was a Japanese scientist who developed the first statin will not touch it.
Mm-hmm. So the interesting thing is, like, I remember watching a Paul Mason video about this, and didn't the Japanese abandon their study on statins, the original study, because all the dogs that they were testing developed cancer or something?
Yeah, I mean, statins are just a metabolic poison. There's never, the only thing where statins are helping a little bit is in secondary prevention, and it has nothing to do with the lowering of cholesterol. Statins have shown to be a slight anti-inflammatory, and that's what's giving the extra results. So I would just take an anti-inflammatory instead of a statin so that you don't accidentally develop type 2 diabetes, dementia, muscle pain. I mean, if you go look up the side effects of statins, you'll see that they are numerous.
The thing is, as well, if the benefit that you want to get from them is a reduced inflammation, there's, rather than taking anything at all, there's other things you can do to reduce inflammation, right? It's like get better sleep, reduce stress, eat meat and eggs, like all of these things that you can do, right?
Get out, get some sun on your skin every day if you can. Once it's warm enough, get outside and be barefoot for a half hour.
Right. Yeah.
Did you know that just 30 minutes of grounding, putting your bare feet on the grass, can reduce the viscosity of your blood by up to 30% in just a half hour?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, here's some feedback from Papa Carnivore. I took a statin for a week and it gave me intense joint pain, brain fog, so I stopped taking it and will never take a statin ever again. Yeah.
I took statins for several years and did not realize how unaware and foggy and depressed I was until I stopped taking the statins. And then I was like, the world just opened up again.
The thing is, as well, is it's kind of natural when you hear that to think, okay, well, statins are useless. But for the business that's selling them, they're actually pretty useful, because it's like you're having to go back to get more, to buy more drugs to cover up the problems.
Yeah, well,
that
statins
are
is
causing.
$1 trillion industry in the world.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing about conspiracies here. This is the way business works, right?
Yeah, it's the cold hard facts. It's $1 trillion industry. And if I'm making widgets, I'm going to do everything I can to sell you my widget.
And then upsell you on the widget accessories and all this kind of thing, right? Yeah. They don't say, would you like fries with that McDonald's, out of the kindness of their heart, right? They want you to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from John, Bob, did you get a chance to talk to Bubba and Lulu about the carnivore way of eating?
No, I did not, because Bubba had his headphones on watching a basketball game, and Lulu was asleep almost the second she got on the plane. So yeah, that was the story of the other part of my video yesterday. The entire trip went very well, but I was on a very crowded, very large plane, got stuck in a middle seat between Bubba and Lulu. And let's just say they both kind of looked like Larry the Cable Guy.
Right.
Meaning Bubba and Lulu are the names of their very large people. So I was crammed between two very large people, because their excess bodies were hanging over into my seat on both sides.
So that's actually a thing. Like, this is massive benefit of carnivore, is how much more comfortable are you traveling on a plane?
Except for that last spot, it was fine. I mean, I went took a flight up to Kitimat, British Columbia once to visit a friend, and on the old prop plane that took us from I forget where it was, from Vancouver, British Columbia, up to Kitimat, I had to have a seatbelt extender because the seatbelt wouldn't go around me.
Right.
And now I just sit down and, if I had still been the size I used to be, I couldn't have gotten into that middle seat between those two. Because there was barely enough room for me at 165 pounds to get between them.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Middle seats are terrible.
They are terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Carnivore Hercules. When I cook, I apply the Jennifer rule, my daughter. I fix what I know others will eat, and I make certain that meat is available. Okay. Nice. All right. Do we have any more questions here? I think I started one more. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yes. Okay. So say, anybody know what Mitch has been eating lately? I think carnivore. No?
Yeah, I'm sure he's still eating carnivore. There's no reason for him to change. I mean, I've talked about this, and many other people have talked about this. Mitch eating carnivore for the last, I don't know how long he's been carnivore, 2-3 years or so. The type of stroke he had takes decades to develop. A couple of years of carnivore did not cause his stroke.
Yeah.
It just didn't. So I'm sure, and if you go back and look at his early videos to where he is now, he is obviously much healthier than he was. And if you saw his videos yesterday or the day before, he's recovering very nicely. There aren't very many people that are that old that have strokes that are recovering as quick as he does.
Yeah. And just on this, like there's so many people will jump on this and say, and doctors included, and say, oh, it was carnivore. It was carnivore. It was carnivore. But those same people won't when the shoe's on the other foot, they won't react the same way. They pick and choose what information they want to see. And yeah, that's always pretty annoying.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen them get all riled up because somebody who's a vegan influencer had a stroke or a heart attack?
Yeah.
Because I assure you that happens too.
Right. Yeah. It's like lots of people have strokes. Lots of people have heart attacks. It's not down to the diet they've been doing for the last 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where are we? Have we got any questions? Hey guys, if you got any questions, please put them in, put a queue in front. Any discussion points you'd like. Okay, Papa Carnivore is just following up. Mitch's stroke was not due to carnivore. Several years ago, he had a head injury and surgery, and that's where the stroke hit. It was from that injury.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and Sue's just saying thanks to us, Bob. That is very reassuring. I'll stay away from that metabolic poison. The side effects are terrible. We'll do some grounding. Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, I actually have a grounding mat underneath my feet right now. You can get them. It's better if you can go outside and stand in the grass, but this is Nebraska and there's a blizzard out there.
There's no grass to stand on.
There's no grass to stand on. You can get mats and sheets and things like that from the house that you just plug into the outlet and get. It's not as good as standing on the grass, but it's better than nothing.
Okay, Adrian, does artificial sweetness spike insulin and prevent weight loss? Probably. There's a thing called the cephalic response, and when your tongue tastes sweetness, it's like your body goes, okay, well, let's get ready. There's sugar incoming. And that's likely going to spike your insulin. And when your insulin goes up, the weight doesn't come off. That's my understanding anyway. Bob?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, not everybody has the cephalic insulin response, but many people do. So all I can say is do your N=1 experiment on yourself, because I know a lot of people that still drink diet sodas on a regular basis and are losing weight. But there are those out there that don't lose weight because they're having a diet soda or some other kind of artificial sweetener.
Okay. Carnivore Hercules. Recent liver scans showed no fat. Different story last March. Carnivore started carnivore last April. Nice. That's awesome.
Good job.
I've spoken to quite a few people that have improved their liver situation following a carnivore diet. Okay. Variety. I wonder if the host knows he is aging his brain by wearing those wireless earbuds, according to Jack Cruz, world's greatest brain surgeon. Yeah, I've got a. Yeah, it's a bad habit just because it's easy. I've got to get out of the habit of doing this and get some wired ones, some wired headphones or something. But yes, thank you for the reminder. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Discussion point. Found another advantage to carnivore. Going camping this weekend. Don't have to bring much. Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than packing food for 3 meals a day plus snacks, I'm guessing you're packing enough that you can cook up meat each day. And if you're going out for 3 days, that means you basically have to carry 3 steaks with you.
And you don't have to take 500 rolls of toilet paper either.
Excellent point.
That's always the benefit, I think. Going back to when the pandemic started, everyone's running around with shopping carts full of toilet paper. I'm thinking, like, going back to those times, if I'd been carnivore, I'd just be looking at those people going, and I'd be taking my shopping cart over to the meat section and filling that. Yeah. No need for the 15,000 rolls of toilet paper. Yeah.
When I was a kid, eggs and toilet paper were so cheap we threw them at other people's houses.
Okay. Jesus and Carnivore, or Jesus and Carnivore. Jesus and Carnivore. Good evening. Just got off a Zoom call with Healing Humanity. Good to see you guys. Nice. Thanks for joining.
Thanks
Appreciate
for stopping in.
Okay. Question. How can I be pure carnivore without having diarrhea? Well, as someone who has suffered at times with this, I would say you just have to find the level of fat that's right for you. Assuming there's not some other issue with like gallbladder or something else. Like it might be, it seems to be, if you have too much fat, your body goes, oh, hang on, we need to get rid of this. If you don't have enough, you're going to be constipated. And there's kind of this happy medium. What are your thoughts on this one, Bob?
Yeah, the way to find that, this is going to sound, but we're all adults here, so just bear with me. First off, you digest fat by your gallbladder concentrating bile from the liver. And when you eat a load of meat and fat, your gallbladder squeezes the bile out and starts the digestion process. Do you think your gallbladder just makes a random amount of bile to store, or do you think there's a specific amount there designed to break down the fat that you're supposed to be taking in? That being said, the way to find the right amount of fat for you is you keep increasing your fat until you have a bathroom issue that is sudden and explosive, and then you back off the fat until it goes away. And that's the amount of fat your body wants with each meal.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And Papa Carnivore is just adding, Adrian, the loose stools are temporary and will resolve themselves in time. Just be patient. Back off the fat a bit until things settle down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus and Carnivore, that's true. Toilet paper lasts much longer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Denise, any info on Parkinson's disease being helped by carnivore diet? Yeah, it's can be helped from what I've heard. There's an interview with, I think the lady's name is Mimi on Homestead How on Kerry's channel. And I've also had someone contact me. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule and it didn't work out. But I've had someone contact me who improved their Parkinson's disease with carnivore. So seems there's not a whole lot of stories out there, but it seems that it's something that can work.
Dr. Palmer has a book called Brain Energy. I highly recommend you get that and read it. It's a very good book. He's a Harvard psychiatrist that wrote the book, and he's been doing in-house studies on people in his lockdown ward at the Harvard Medical School hospital. And he has seen very good results for many conditions, and Parkinson's is one of them.
Yeah. Just some extra things here. Jesus and Carnivore confirms, yes, it's Mimi. And Delta 9 says, Dr. Chafee said it helps. And another comment, look up Dr. Matthew Phillips for Parkinson's and metabolic therapies. Okay, nice. All right.
Yeah.
So, Emma, my dreams are so vivid since going keto. Is this normal? Well, you're sleeping better, so I guess it is, yeah? Bob, how are your dreams?
I don't know if I have any dreams or not because I don't remember them. I sleep like a log all night.
Yeah, that's my problem. Everyone says they're dreaming better, and I'm like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah, but a lot of people have said they dream more vividly. So, and I would imagine if you are a person who remembers their dreams, when just having a better sleep is probably going to make those dreams more vivid. Okay, Frank, Dave, your Plaque video. I remember viewing. Have you had it reanalyzed? Do you wonder about LDL long-term effects? So I haven't yet. Getting in to get the test done is the issue. Do you wonder about LDL long-term effects? I don't. And the reason I don't is because I just don't believe that the human body would have. Okay, so whether you say it was designed or evolved, whatever you want to say, or both, like I can't believe that it would have a self-destruct mechanism in it. It just doesn't make sense. And so LDL may be harmful long-term based on what you're eating if you're not eating a species appropriate diet, right? So, and like, I can't believe the body would have a self-destruct mechanism. I also can't believe that the correct diet for humans is one that's been designed by, mass manufacturing, right? So basically, no. Bob, what are your thoughts on that about LDL long term?
LDL, cholesterol, and any of the fragments thereof. There is zero science connecting any of those things to any deleterious outcome. Now, there are some associative studies, and that may be because their LDL is getting oxidized because you dumped way too much sugar in your system. But as Professor K says, the cholesterol and the LDL are present at the plaque sites for the same reason firefighters are present at forest fires. Because you always see firefighters at forest fires, should we then put out forest fires or keep them from happening by outlawing firefighters from going to work? Well, no, obviously that's ridiculous. But, I'm not a scientist. I can't say I've studied this, but the gentleman that I talk to quite frequently, who is a cardiovascular pathophysiologist, has said in no uncertain terms, cholesterol and all of its carriers, which is what LDL is, it's like the little sub that floats the cholesterol around in your bloodstream. There is no part of that is causally linked to any kind of disease process. In fact, if you go back and look at most of the people that live beyond 100 years old, what's the one thing they all have in common? They have high cholesterol by today's standards.
Yeah. And this is the other thing as well along these lines, right? When they've reduced what the normal level for LDL is over time, and then you start to think, well, this is all marketing. This is all just about making money. And so, yeah, there's too many things that don't make sense about LDL being the problem.
Yeah, and I would like to point out one other thing. There is a major meta-analysis that spanned 168 countries that has multiple billion data points. And it shows quite clearly that between 220 and 250 is the ideal range for total cholesterol. As you start to move down the chart to lower cholesterol levels, you see a huge upswing in all-cause mortality.
Yeah.
And that's not some weird little study. I mean, that's one that was put together by the World Health Organization, and I believe it was a British medical journal that worked on
that. Kenji, Otsukare-sama. Yeah, I've been talking to Kenji recently by email. He grew up in Osaka. Okay. Frank, yes, agree. Only same because of plaque already there with higher LDL. Will it gradually build up? Yeah,
mine's gone down.
Using the analogy of the fire engines and so forth, I would doubt it. Anything's possible, but I don't think the blame can't be put at the LDL, so yeah, I'm not sure but I don't think it's the LDL. And over time, so I think the thing is, I was reading somewhere where one of them was in Malcolm Kendrick's book, but there was something else written about this. I can't remember where I saw it. Is that when they actually examine the plaques, the percentage of cholesterol that's in those plaques is minuscule relative to everything else that's in there.
5%.
Right. And that would indicate that, it's not the cholesterol that's the problem, and the cholesterol still isn't causing a problem once the plaques have formed. Okay. And Malcolm Kendrick once told me this as well. It's like there are studies there that say, cholesterol, once you're over a certain age, the higher the cholesterol, the longer your life. Okay. Carolyn, can carnivore help someone with terminal COPD, not emphysema, but COPD? Yeah, I've interviewed a couple of people that have COPD and have improved. So there's one lady, she's on quite a lot of live streams recently, Julia, Venetian Cat. She has COPD and she's an artist, and she would be doing her art and wouldn't be able to continue with anything because she just couldn't stop coughing. But now that she's carnivore, things have improved to the point she still coughs from time to time, but it's not like a persistent thing. I've done hour-long interviews with her, but she can now do her art. She can now go about daily life. She can now walk up a hill, all this kind of thing with no problems. So yeah, it seems to help. And there are a couple of other ones on my channel. Oh, what am I clicking on? Okay. Question. What else is in the blockage? So I'm not 100% sure, but like there's things like what do you call it? The blood
Calcium
clot
deposits
and things.
and scar tissue and blood
Yeah.
clots and all of the above. It's, again, I'm with Dave on this. I don't know the exact breakdown, but there are a few actual scientists out there in the land of YouTube that talk about this quite a bit.
One of the best books to get is The Clot Thickens by Malcolm Kendrick. That's an excellent book. And I'm typically not a non-fiction book reader, but Malcolm Kendrick writes in such a way that even if you don't typically like non-fiction books, it's a very easy read. Yeah, he writes it as a kind of, it's almost like a mystery. It's really, really interesting. Jesus and Carnivore. Anyone know where we can watch the documentary Cracking the Cholesterol Code? I remember watching an interview and it was supposed to be out sometime in February, but I haven't been able to find it. So this is the Dave Feldman one, right? So I can't remember. There was a conference on in Las Vegas, I think, where they premiered it, but I don't know what's happened since then. I don't know if it's available to download or whatever. Have you heard anything, Bob?
I have not. I don't know, but Dave Feldman, you can search for him on YouTube, and if you can't find his stuff, go to Nick Norwitz's channel and go to his very earliest videos, because he was one of the people involved in the Dave Feldman study, and he has since started putting stuff out on YouTube. And when you click on the videos tab, you've got a choice to search between oldest and newest first. Flip it to oldest, and that should get you fairly close to, while the documentary itself may not be there, the results of their study that sparked the documentary will be there.
Yeah. And just to follow up on the discussion we just had about cholesterol, or plaques rather. So Irene says vitamin D3, K2, and magnesium keep the calcium in the bones. And Penny also says Dr. Jeff Bowles says D3 with K2 to push the calcium back into the bones and muscles to help prevent calcification. There are other cofactors as well. Interesting. Nice. Okay. Do we have any more questions? No. Okay. Well, we've been going for about an hour, and we've got no more questions, so we might call it a day at this point. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and for your chats and questions. We had about 120 people at the top, but appreciate it, and we'll probably be back with you in about 2 weeks. Bob?
Yeah, I really like these every 2 week things. I mean, between my live streams on Fridays and the one I do every other week with Dave, these are my favorite hours of the week, because it's basically us sitting here talking to you guys. We answer your questions, or we talk about the topics that you want to talk about. I know we're not all sitting in the same room having a discussion, but this feels so much nicer than just walking around the street with a camera in my face, talking to myself, having people looking at me like I'm a weirdo. But yeah, this is my favorite time. So just get out there, be 1% better today, tomorrow, and every day. Thanks for being here, guys. We really appreciate it.
Cheers.